I don't care what that 50-year career veteran dispatcher told you, AI's not coming to replace public safety telecommunicators. But it is coming to challenge leadership to decide what to do with the capacity that it's going to create. Because as emergency communications handles more data, more systems, more complexity, AI helps organize that information, reduce repetitive work, and give people more time to focus on judgment. Imagine that. And the question is whether we use it simply to cut costs or make the human the center of a stronger decision. That's what's coming up next on TiPS Today in Public Safety.
Welcome to TiPS Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Here's your host, Fletch, with today's tips.
Welcome to TiPS Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch. I'm a NENA certified ENP. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I bring you the important topics about public safety and communications technology. AI should organize the decision, not own it. This week, we talked a lot about reliability being more than a circuit, and the fact that a call doesn't stop at a jurisdictional line. Both of those conversations lead us directly to AI. Why? Because we're creating more information than any one human being can reasonably sort through in a critical moment. More location data, more mapping, more text, more video, more alerts, more systems, more policies, more things that need to be checked, documented, transferred, reviewed, and acted upon. The answer isn't to remove the human from the process. The answer is to use technology to help the human bring their value to see what matters. AI needs to organize the decision, not own it. There's a big difference there. AI is great at recognizing patterns in call volume, help supervisors identify recurring problems in a quality assurance review. It can help organize notes, summarize repetitive administrative information, and make it much easier to find the part of the call that needs attention. Those are all very useful things, but AI won't understand the fear in a caller's voice. It doesn't understand the difference between a caller who's confused and a caller who's being intentionally evasive. It doesn't understand the political, legal, operational, and emotional context behind emergency responses. And most of all, it doesn't carry any responsibility when the outcome goes wrong. No, that usually lands on the shoulders of the telecommunicator, the supervisor, or the agency. But in the end, the human being still owns the decision, and that needs to be the first rule of AI in public safety. Capacity is the real return on investment. Last Saturday, Taylor Shantz made a great point on LinkedIn in a post. She said that when technology creates productivity, leadership has a choice. You can reduce headcount, or you can ask a much better question: what else could these people do? Brilliant. That's the question public safety leaders should be asking. Now look, in my career, there's never been a shortage of work in public safety. There's only been a shortage of capacity. There were always training files that needed to be reviewed. There are policies that need to be updated. There are GIS records that need attention. There are quality reviews that need to be completed, and there are telecommunicators who need coaching from senior staff. We've all got systems that need to be tested, and there are after-action reports that need to be written. There are always partnerships that can be strengthened before the next emergency happens, not just in our schools, but our general public. So if AI can reduce the time it takes to complete repetitive administrative work, that time shouldn't be disappearing from the organization. It needs to be reinvested. It should create room for better coaching, better quality assurance, better wellness, better preparation, and better follow-up with the people we serve. Hi, Mrs. Smith. This is Fletch. I'm a dispatcher down at Ringwood Police Department. Hey, I just wanted to check with you on that call last week to make sure everything was satisfactory in our response, and if you had any suggestions of something we could do better. What would you think if you got a call like that? I sure would say, wow. And I'm sure a lot of people go, yeah, I got a list. But that's okay, because if that person is heard, maybe it's something you need to hear, and they probably still feel a lot better. Yeah, computers changed bookkeeping, automation changed manufacturing, cars, trains, and airlines all changed how we move people and goods across the country. Every single one of those things changed individual jobs, but they also created new industries, new roles, new opportunities, and new capacity for growth. Just the fact that you're listening to this podcast changed content delivery across the world. AI is just another leap forward in automation. It's not magic. It's not a replacement for leadership, and it's not a replacement for a good telecommunicator. It's just a tool that can help one human that already does good work do more meaningful work. And it gives you the time to create those humans. The better measurement is how many errors were prevented, how much critical information was clarified, how much was training improved, how much time was returned to the people doing the work, and how much capacity did I actually create for the organization. Governance has to be built in from the beginning. Now, none of that means that we should just turn AI loose in public safety and hope for the best. AI absolutely needs to be monitored and governed. After all, it touches personal information. It touches emergency decisions. It might influence what gets seen first and what gets summarized, and what gets flagged and what gets missed. And that means public safety needs to be careful. We need to know what data is being used. We need to know where that data goes, and we need to know who can access it. What we don't need is a screen door on the back of the bank vault. We need to know what the system is allowed to do, what it's not allowed to do, and most importantly, who's accountable when it gets something wrong. And we've also got to be honest about the limitations. AI doesn't always think like a human being. No, it processes information, recognizes patterns, mathematically weighs probabilities, and produces an answer based on what it's been given. That can be very powerful, but it also can be very wrong. If the data is incomplete, the answer will be incomplete. If the data contains bias, the results will likely reflect that bias. If the system's used without human review, then people may give it more authority than it actually deserves. And that's why governance is not just a policy document that you write after the tech is installed in your Peace app. It's part of the design. Before an agency buys any AI tool, leadership should be able to answer a few questions that are basic. Number one, what problem are we trying to solve? Number two, what decision will the tool support? Number three, who remains responsible for the final decision? Number four, how are we going to test it? Number five, how are we going to measure whether it helped? And number six, what happens when it gets something wrong? If you can't answer those questions, then you're not ready to deploy the tool, any tool. Because the goal is not to make public safety less human. The goal is to give good people better tools, better information, and more time to make the decisions only they can make. Let me say that again because it's important. The goal is to give the good people better tools, better information, and more time to make the decisions that only they can make. So the question is not whether AI is going to change the job. Sure, it absolutely will. Every tool has changed the job, AI or not. The question is whether we use it to make the human that's at the center of the decision stronger. Insert dramatic pause. That wraps up this episode of Tips Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch. Thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you next week with more episodes. Remember, you can check out all of our past archives, nearly 250 of them, all at 911tips.com. Hey, it's Fletch. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really hope you learned something new. Please remember to like and subscribe so you'll be notified of all of our new episodes. Tips publishes 3 times each week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern. You can also listen to or read my blogs and other long-form content at fletch.tv, and my professional website with all my contact information is at fletch911.com. Once again, thanks so much for spending some time with me, and if you're in public safety, as always, thanks for what you do every single day. We'll catch you later. Take care.
You've been listening to Tips Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Catch past episodes on 911tips.com. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. No small animals were harmed in the making of this podcast. However, it may contain peanuts, or peanuts may have been used in its production. This content is void where prohibited or expressly forbidden by law. And by the way, I said peanuts.